Alright, so we're going to demonstrate Graphit by Tezmo. Here we have the splash screen. This is the first view you'll see. It's the functions view where you will have all your functions later on. And next up is the graph view where your functions will be drawn and you can interact with them. And then there is the table values view, which presents different function values. There's also a scientific calculator with the standard inputs like functions and constants and such. The last view is an info view with some information about Tezmo and Graphit. Alright, let's get back to the functions view. We don't have any functions stored here, so let's add one by pressing the plus. At the top here we have the function, the expression, which is empty at the moment. There's also a round colored button which you can press to get to the choose color menu, which sets the color for the function. Here in the middle of the add functions view we have different input tabs. This first one is numerical and operator input. The second one is exponential functions and logarithms. Third one is trigonometric functions like sine, cosine and all that. And the last one is predefined constants like pi. Below the input view are some buttons for parentheses and stepping back and forth in the function expression. There's also a reset button and X. Now we're ready to create a function. Let's try, let's say 2x. 2x. And we want to store it, so let's press save. Now you can see the function here, it's marked on. So if we press the graph view here, we will see it plotted. Let's get back to the functions view here and let's do something strange. Let's put a multiplication here and save that. As you can see, Graphit will detect this error because you can't have a multiplication at the end of a function, of course. You can choose to remove the function or edit it again, and we choose edit. So let's put 3 there, and that's a legal expression, and that works. Let's add another function. Let's say cosine x, maybe. Let's press cosine and x and finish it off with the ending parenthesis. As you can see, there's highlighting on the parentheses which you end. We can also step through the expression, and let's say we add 2 pi, like that, and we can step back and forth again, remove the 2 and do lots of things. Let's say we want to store 3 pi x and the cosine of that. We'll add some more functions now. Let's say sine x, same thing there, x and an ending parenthesis. And let's change the color of that. Let's pick purple and save. So now we got 3 functions. So let's add a last function here. Let's say x squared, and we'll change the color of that to, let's say, green, and save. Let's edit it again, and let's say we multiply it by 99. Oh no, we don't want to do that, so let's press cancel and we'll revert to the stored value. We can also press the erase button here and the complete expression will be erased and cancel since we don't want to store those changes. Now let's say we want to delete the first function here. We'll press the delete button and you'll see this familiar delete interface. Just press the icon to the left and the button to the right and the function disappears. Let's have a look at our functions by pressing the graph button, and we'll see them here. Let's get back and turn off the cosine one, the blue, and as you can see it's disappeared. But let's turn it back on, and in this graph we can move around with the finger just like that. We can pinch to zoom in and pinch out to zoom out, and we can pinch to zoom on just one axis, or we can zoom on both axes at once, and yeah, you get a hang of it. We've also got landscape mode. If you think that you'll see the graph better there, you can just tilt the phone and voila. That's not it. We can also interact with the functions by double tapping in the graph view, and we will have a menu here. The first menu here is to plot the original function. Next one is the derivative. As you can see, the view changes. And we can also pinch in, zoom out, and do all the same things in the derivative mode. As you can see, the functions are plotted with very high resolution, and this is due to the highly optimized mathematical engine behind Graphit. As you can see, when you zoom in and zoom out, it's also very quick. Another great feature of Graphit is the integral handling, where you can calculate and display integrals of your functions. Let's say here we want to calculate the integral between 0.1 and let's say 2 for the functions we have. Let's press calculate, and you can see up here the integral values, and in the plot you'll see the integral drawn in the interface. We can also look at the integrals here in landscape mode, where we have some more screen real estate. The last menu option here is a special button with the trace, intersect, and root finding functions. Let's say I want to trace in the plot. Just click trace and drag the finger over the plot, and you can see here that we're tracing at a point, and you'll see the function values changing for that. You can also see that the trace line snaps to the grid lines. You can just drag your finger along the plot here, and it's basically your movement that puts the limit on how fast you evaluate the points. There's also intersection functionality, which calculates the intersection between 2 points. So let's click 2 here, and you can see they intersect at 2 points, which are displayed. If the functions intersect at many points, the 3 first ones will be calculated and the rest will be shown in the interface. If we just want to have one intersection, let's zoom in and press some other functions here, and you'll see we only get one intersection value. We can also calculate the roots of the functions. The Graphit will detect the leftmost root it can find, as you can see on the cosine curve. And finally, we got the edit button, where you can manually set the field of view for the graph. There's also an option to turn on and off the shake to reset function, which we can't show you since we're running this on the simulator. But it means that if you shake your phone, it will reset the field of view to its standard value. You can also do this manually by pressing the reset button, as shown here. The last feature is smooth scrolling, which is really awesome. It's like, you know, the Maps application, when you panorate in that one, you can do the same thing here in the graph, because Graphit is just so quick. And that's what you can do in the graph view.